Okay,
All right,
so
let's get off and running. Dave,
yeah,
we're
let's
going to
get
start off
started.
with you because we're going to transition right into that. You know, the psychology of influence, closing without being pushy. And for all you people who are on this call, Dave Lawson is the epitome of not being pushy. So, Dave, give everyone some gold nuggets on how to get over certain obstacles to get people to move forward.
Okay, so when you guys sent me this, I instantly went to two different portions, right? The psychology of influencing people to get a listing and one to get a buyer to work with you. So I'm going to just share with you my thoughts on both of them. But the first thing that I want you to do, and everybody write this down. I always say the obvious conclusion to a great presentation is a contract signed, right? So if you're presenting, whether it's to a buyer or to a seller, it all has to do, so much is involved in the presentation. So I'm going to start with the listing side, right? You list to last, you list, when you list one property, you get two sales. When you work with a buyer, you get one. Do you want one sale or two? I want to get listings, right? I mean, we've heard all that. So the thing is when you're out on a presentation for a listing agent, in my opinion, either you're fully prepared and you've done all the steps from meeting them to doing the research to doing your pre-listing email, sending your pre-listing packet. And I essentially say, I want them to answer the door. Like, you can't see, I'm holding up a pen right now. I want them to answer the door with the pen in their hand, ready to sign the contract, right? And how do you do that? You do that by doing the whole process and not skipping steps, right? So you should never go on a listing presentation if you haven't done the minimum amount of these things. So you've got to talk to them, obviously set up. You want to know a little bit about what their motivation is and where they're going and all that. So if and you've got to ask them some questions like, Pete, what's important to you about moving, and where are you going to go, and how's that going to affect you and your family, and what happens if you don't get your home sold? Do you have a plan B? So that's the
Well,
first.
I might rent it, and what's important is I want to get into a better school system before my daughter starts high school. So if I can't get it sold, I know there's a lot of inventory. I'll just rent it.
Yeah. Well, that is an option for sure. So let's look at that as one option when I come out and I meet you today at 4 o'clock. Okay.
That would be great.
See, and then what you do is you get there. And I got to tell you, early in my career in the coaching and training, I used to be the get in, get out, get paid person. And it actually worked fairly well in some cases. The problem is that it never got me referrals and it never got me clients that are real sticky to me. So what I would do is I'd go and I would get prepared and I'd do some of or most of the things that I'm telling you to do. And they would sign the contract and I'd sell the house and I would never get a referral from them. And so I was talking to Debbie DeGroat, my coach back then, and she said, Dave, you've mentioned many times that sometimes you do part of it, sometimes you do all of it. Why don't you just do your entire presentation on every listing appointment? Because then everybody will know everything you do. So I literally have people halfway through my listing presentation pick up the pen, lean forward, like if that's not I want to sign the contract, but I would even say, I understand, or why don't we get going? Okay, I understand we want to get going, but Pete, in order for me to really truly show you the entire value of the Lawson team and what we do to get your home sold, can I just have a few more minutes to explain all of the things that we do, right? And we talk about, giving them every weekend, every with our VA. She sends over an email, our client care manager, and it goes over everything that we do. We use all of these tools. We use EXP Luxury, and we show them at the listing presentation one of our other luxury listings, and we just say, hey, when I not if, right? We're always assuming the sale. Randy and I, we've talked that many times back then. We always assume the sale, right? So, Pete, is it okay if I market your home on the Wall Street Journal and Barron's, Robb Report, Market Watch, Unique Homes, Mansion Global, Upmarket, all of those sites plus 74 other, basically the MLS in Europe? Is it okay that we market to all those? And then I show them the thing, right? And so I'm going to go back. So what do? You talk to them, you find out what is important to them, you send at least a pre-listing email. If you have somebody on your team, an assistant, it's good to have them send a pre-listing marketing email or something like that. I have all this. I don't have time to show you. And then you get ready, you study the market, you get there 20 minutes, 30 minutes early, you drive the area, you know the names of the three homes in the neighborhood that are for sale, and you say, oh, here's the Jones house around the corner that's listed at X, the house, on the block over here that sold last month for 1.8 million and so on. And you do this through tax records, right? And then you do your presentation, and when you're at the presentation, your number one goal as you're walking through the house is to take notes, but also you want to sell the client, you want to sell the seller on their home. That's the time to point out all the great things, not the thing that, oh, look at that stain on the carpet and look at this and that, right? That's for another day. That's for after the contract is signed. Okay. And then you sit down and you have practiced and role played your listing presentation over and over and over and over and over. And then after that, you do it over and over and over again. Because the guys, think about it. We are professionals. We don't practice on clients. We practice on our people. And we make 20, 30, 40, 60, $90,000 in 1 hour in a presentation, because in that presentation you get 1 hour with them and you win or you lose. This is not auto racing where the second place is, it is just the first loser, but second place in auto racing still pays pretty dang good, right? What does second place in real estate pay? Zero. I see a lot of zero hands go up, right? So that's how you win. Okay. Now, the buyer side, I'm going to be a lot quicker. And I see Ross on the line, and I'm going to ask him a question. So I won't surprise you, Ross. So get ready. But the thing is we've come up with a program that is unbelievably successful for working with buyers. And I can tell you that, and even in the buyer category, gang, there's a couple of different categories, right? There's a brand new buyer from Zillow. There's somebody there's somebody that is your best friend, and for a fact they're going to use you. Why not use the same process to do a great job, right? So I'm going to make this quick. So what do? We always try to set up three homes. we have a whole process. The first home, it's kind of getting to know the person. The second home is where we show them how to buy a home, like the process of A to Z. That's our buyer's guide. And at the third home, we show them how the vast majority of Americans build wealth in America through our wealth building tool. And at the end, we ask them to either write an offer or sign a buyer agency agreement, and that's it. So Ross, you were doing, was it $40 million or something when we started this? And
Yeah.
you got your agents to implement this, and how much did you grow last year?
122 million.
You grew by 122 million, or you did 122 million?
Grew by 122 million.
Yeah. So he went from 140 and up to 162 million. And part of this is because of what, Ross?
Implementing these strategies and having strong follow up on the front end and on the back end.
Yeah. So anyway, at the end of the day, the thing is when you do what I explained, whether you're working with a buyer or a seller, the natural outcome for this presentation is a listing signed or a buyer agency or an offer written, right? So that's how you do this without being pushy. And nothing we're doing is pushy. It's all, I always say, service first, sell second, right? Do your job. And when we also have a saying, even in the Zillow or Realtor.com world, everybody gets 1 hour. It's a 1 hour freebie. We get 1 hour. If they want to go see a property, we're gonna show it to them, and we're gonna try to earn their business. And we're not gonna ask them if they have a buyer's agent, because oftentimes they lie. So anyway, there you have it.
I love it. That's good stuff. Ross, let's go with you. Give me a few tips on what you use for the psychology. Get somebody, before I even get into the question, what I'm seeing a lot, you guys, is agents are afraid to ask for the order. Whether it's a listing or a sale, they're afraid to ask for the order. So it's a psychological thing. Give me a few tips, Ross, that will help everybody on this production Zoom get over that hurdle to get people moving forward and to sign the contract.
So one, you have to practice, right? Like this is funny that people think they can just show up to the big dance at their listing appointment or when they pick up the phone and start dialing, and they think it's okay to not be prepared. So like going into psychology, then I have 3 points I'll make on that side. But this is where you practice. So we developed this stout team like this. We have this expired listing command center. We also have one for buyers. We have a role play chat bot. So this is instantaneous responses. You get to choose what kind of seller you want to work with, what kind of objections you want to work on. We have a script library, so you know exactly what it is. And then you get graded on all your calls. So this is like the warm up or a practice run to get in there. And then we talk about our menu pricing for our listings, and everybody wants elite, right? So we got to charge well for that. You can import all of your leads into here. It connects directly to Follow Up Boss. You can call from here. This is the stuff that like we're developing right now to make sure everyone is prepared and ready to go for the big dance. We have one for buyers too. But at the Stout team, we like to say that we don't show up for work. We show up to give excellent service. And I learned that from Scholze, who's really made the Ritz-Carlton what it is today. And that's something that we started adopting. And if we live by that, then we are not going to be pushy salesmen, and we're going to posture ourselves in a certain way. So before I get into the posture, I just wanted to talk about what opportunity is. So opportunity is relationship plus information. And you have to notice which one is first. It's relationship. Because if you're a realtor who's wanting to empower your client with knowledge, it's just noise until they trust you. Information is just noise until your client trusts you. If you come on phone hot, giving them all the market updates and like you're dropping all this hot knowledge on them and it's good stuff, they don't care because like they don't trust you. There's no basis of foundation for them to receive that information. So remember, opportunity is relationship plus information, and relationship always has to come first. Your follow up needs to be from a posture of giving, not from taking. So you need to make their why so big that it's inevitable that they have to make this purchase to hit their goal. If you don't know what their why is, and this is where relationship is built, how could you possibly advise them to make the biggest purchase of their life? You know, if your why for them is they want a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house close to a school, like that isn't big. There's no why behind that. That's a stat that they want to purchase. You need to find out. So like follow up should include like, because we're on the front end, hey, I heard that you were, last time we spoke, you said you're looking for assisted care options for your mom. Like, how's your mom doing? You know, your kids, I heard they're graduating high school. Now you're downsizing. Like, do you have plans for their grad party? Like, that's it, right? So build that relationship so you can speak to actual moments that are going to give them real motivation. Finding a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom bathroom house and sending to them that in the MLS, that's trash follow-up. And that's what everyone does. Just because you know what they want in a house doesn't set you apart and doesn't make any relationship building with you. So most people that I talk to, they're not making sales right now because of their clients. It's because their follow-up is trash. And I am the most guilty party of that. So this is why it's invaluable that we learn that. Eliminate following up, circling back, and checking in from your vocabulary. Lead with giving. I have a new tool for you. There's an opportunity for you to hit your goal here. Remember, we talked about what your why was with your kids graduating, downsizing. You have to speak to what they want. So for me, guys, in short, practice makes perfect. You can't go to the big dance without practicing. Develop tools, use tools, buy something, do what's best for you, and work on your craft every single day. There's no pro that doesn't work on their craft every day. Grab a friend and role play. Do something like that. And then remember, you need to posture yourself and always be giving excellent service. We're not here to take. When we're checking in, following up, and circling back, we're asking for our clients to give us something, which is their money. There's no value in those conversations except for, hey, are you going to buy something yet or what? Like, that's what we're telling them. So grow up into a better salesperson in that direction. And if you can teach that, if you can do that yourself, teach it to other people, the needle will move in your business in a big way. And that's a great way to grow an organization here. So that's all I got, man.
That's awesome. Good input. Everybody take this down. There's a great book to read. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yeah.
By Will Guidara. His name, he's a Bostonian like me, so I can't pronounce the name, right? We can't speak. But it's Will Guidara, Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality. And read that book. It's about 11 Madison Park. He's the owner of 11 Madison Park, which was it talks about the quest of his journey to get 3 Michelin stars for that restaurant and what they did by servicing their friends and clients above and beyond. And that can definitely carry over to real estate. So I think it's a really good read. It's interesting. It gives you a lot of tips, and it changes your mindset because, we're in the business, the service business and the lead generation business. That's what we're in that order, in my opinion. You have to be in service to others. If you help everybody else get what they want, you'll automatically get what you want. So Unreasonable Hospitality, I'll put it in the chat. And I think it makes a lot of great points, okay? The other thing is, don't be afraid to ask for the order. Ask people, say, what's the worst thing that can happen? And make it really easy. let them tell you the answer. If they don't have the answer, say, listen, by not doing it, this is what I see that's going to happen, and this is how it could affect you. You've got to get them in the mindset of moving forward. They're cautious because they're nervous. Everybody's nervous right now about everything. They're nervous about the war. They're nervous about the stock market. They're nervous about gas prices. They're nervous about everything. You know, in my opinion, a lot of this is going to be background noise within 3 weeks. And then we're going to blow up. This market's going to start running. So you got to get people out in front of that and say, let me do you a favor. Buy now. Let's get going now.
Otherwise, you're a genius if you buy right now. Yeah, I love if you're a genius if you buy right now. If you are waiting for everyone else to transact, like you're putting yourself in a tough position because you're going to have to pay more on all aspects of your transaction. So I love that you're a genius if you buy right now.
Yeah, ask everyone this question. When has it ever been a bad time to own something? Ask them that. When has it ever been a bad time to own something? Because you can't get ahead if you don't own something. Okay?
Yeah, I've used the same thing, Pete. You know, the vast majority of people make money when they buy a property, not when they sell it. So if we know that's true, do you want to wait for 2 or 3 months when interest rates are down and there's a lot more buyers and there's less sellers and the war is behind us and
I want to jump in here, guys.
Blah, 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 right?
Well, hold on. But by doing this little thing that we're talking about, we're being pushy. The whole thing is how to do this, not being pushy. And if you try to title this up as like, you're a genius if you do this.
I disagree with you. You're not being pushy. You're asking for order. You're being strategic. You're trying to be helpful. And you're trying to hold their hand and move them forward. If you come in with the psychology that you're being pushy, you're not being pushy. You're trying to service them saying, look, I'm trying to do right by you. It's better to move forward now than later. It's going to end up costing you more money. Do you like to shop at Neiman Marcus or do you like to shop at Costco? That's not pushy. That's a direct question. I love Costco. My wife doesn't even let me go to Costco because I can't get out of the place. I'm trying all the stuff. I'm taking the samples. I'm buying everything. Oh, look we can get a crate of pistachios. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm telling you. This is the greatest conversation ever. You've got to get people moving forward without being pushy. You have to be strategic.
Well, here's the thing, Cam. When somebody comes into your database, why are they in your database?
So I'm obviously a very unique market, guys. I am South Florida, so people's motivation to move here is because it's cold everywhere else, and this is their third, fourth, fifth home. We're the highest.
Same in the desert.
So the only reason people come to me is because they're tired of the cold and they want to get to Florida. It's not a financial decision
because they want to buy a house. They're in your database.
Sometimes
Well, they wouldn't contact a person in real estate if they weren't looking to purchase a house. I have to think that if you're going to contact a salesperson that you know is going to be trying to sell you something, you got to be somewhat in the market, at least a warm lead, right? Like if I go to a car lot, it's because I'm actually thinking about buying a car in the near or later future. It's not because, then maybe some people like to just go look, but even if they do like to go look, it's because they have an idea that I have a dream to own this car. So you're not pushing somebody. What I want to be clear on is when you are engaging with someone to do the activities that they engage with you on, that's not being pushy. And that's why you need to find out their why. Because if you find out their why, then you can direct them. Because like if somebody says, hey man, and I love Dave uses his example all the time. Hey, you told me that you want to spend more time with your kids and your commute takes an hour away from you each day that you get to spend time with your kids. Think about what that would do for you if you lived an hour closer. What would that do for you, Cam, if you got to live an hour closer to your kids?
I 100%, you guys. And Ross, that's the right statement, right? But we don't also then tell them they're a genius for buying right this second. If the real goal is to focus on their kids. And I think that's just what I want to say there is like, it's very important to be strategic with these people in a way that is in their best interest, right?
Do you not think that now is a good time to buy?
Oh, guys, I'm a realtor. I think it's always a good time to buy. But in our local market, they have people that have bought in the last 5 years are all underwater, and we have mass foreclosures going on right now. So if I were to say that in the last 5 years, I would have
But they wouldn't have a foreclosure
advised
if they could
people to make their own
sustain.
decision. That's their right. They choose. With that said, though, they are now, underwater. So was it the best decision for people to buy in the last 5 years? It's always the right decision to buy if it is in your interest. And that's the part. This is such a great topic. Is like this. You got to do it not being pushy and doing it with logic. Like you said, if it's the moving an hour away for their kids, that's logic, man. Like makes total sense. By claiming that they're a genius by buying today. Yeah, come on, guys. Like let's be honest. And this is what this panel is really good about is your idea of like if they're an hour away and they got to be closer to their kids and that is their interest, right? Then it's like heck yeah, let's move you closer. That's in their interest. That's not being pushy. Let's solve your solution. But by coming to them up front and saying you're an idiot if you don't buy right now, which is what you say when you say you're a genius if you buy right now, right? If the opposite is if you're a genius if you buy right now, well, what does that make you if you don't buy right now? That's starting, in my opinion.
It's a missed opportunity. That's the cool part about this topic. Is it's kind of opinions, but how can we do strategically where it's always in the interest of that client, right? How can we make sure that we're focusing on that? And I think that's what I'm going to chat about. But I thought about that when you're saying that is like if you say you're a genius right now, which you're always a genius when you're buying real estate, especially when you're able to leverage your income. With that said, is it in their best interest? And that was a thought.
Well,
if you bought a house in 2000,
you know where the market's going.
Yeah, if you bought a house in 2008, you would have felt pretty bad about it until you're out on the other side right now and you have 500 grand worth of equity. So for me, this is the comment that I always use is no one has ever said, I wish I waited. Everyone always says, I wish I bought earlier. No matter what. I mean, in the 80s, do you think people thought it was stupid to buy? Like, if you still held on to that house today, like think about this is how you build wealth in America. And when you talk about like you thinking people are idiots if they don't buy, no, it's presenting the opportunity to win. Like this is about you securing your financial future. If you can afford this payment within your job, you are going to build equity. That's why you're a genius, because everyone else is too scared when historically, even if on the low end, we know that prices rise 7% nationally year over year. Well, now, is that right now? No, it's 2%, right? Maybe it's 1%, but it's still an increase in your wealth. Go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
I think, Cameron, you're right. Ross, you're right. I think though, what it comes down to is, Cameron, if you were to go to those buyers that are now regretting their buying decision, I would bet a lot of them bought on the hype of appreciation. They were not thinking about potentially being in this property for 5, 6, 7 years, like most buyers do. It is a secondary type of a market. So a lot of your buyers, they buy based on excess amounts of money so I think it's just a very different market. So if you ask them a realistic question and say, hey, I understand that the market, like if this was 5 years ago, I understand the market's appreciating. Yes, everyone's moving to Florida. However, when it stops, are you still going to be able to keep this property? Yep. Will this payment still, and of course we can't foresee things like insurance hikes, taxes going up. Like those are things we can't control, Cameron. So we can't speak about it, but we can speak and ask questions like, hey, what's the goal here? Oh, well, I want to buy it and sell it in 2 years and have some equity. And, well, I would tell them like, then don't buy based just off that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to know how long somebody wants to own. So Cam, in your market, if a buyer says, you just ask him, how long do you think you'll see yourself in this house? Oh, 7, 10, 15 years. Well, I always say the best time to buy was yesterday. The next best time is today. And if that doesn't work, the next best time is tomorrow, right? But Randy, you're so right on. If somebody says, well, I'm trying to make some money in the next 1 or 2 years. Now, there are markets in this country that you can buy today and sell in 2 years and make money. Cam, you're just not in it. So you have a different perspective on your clients versus the clients in Salt Lake right now. Prices are going up. We have multiple offers all the time, right? So we have a different mindset.
Exactly. And remember, you guys, I'm not saying you're wrong. Ross, you were spot on, dude. And Randy, you're even more spot on because you're obviously watching this. This is just my opinion. And like, I wanted to say that because I was kind of starting to feel when you start telling people they're geniuses for buying right now, you're always a genius, right? If you secure something for the future, you start kind of, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion. So that's worth, excuse my French, but that's worth nothing, guys. But you start getting very pushy when you start using things that aren't even in their best interest. When you start telling people they're geniuses, or you start telling people you have to do it right now because all wealth is made in America by owning real estate. And that's true predominantly, right? You start using these key phrases, and you start using these strategic direction of trying to secure the client. That's not in their best interest. And David, you were totally right. Is like in my market here, shoot, if you buy a house right now, you're losing money every day that you own it from this until whenever our market does recuperate. And that's not the same for everybody else. And it doesn't matter, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in, but it was like, gosh, start hearing that stuff. It's like,
I know, but it's a good point. Cam's coming from a market, you guys, down in Cape Coral and Fort Myers that has, in some ways,
he got beat up lately.
got beat up. But you know something? Look, even in beat up markets, there's huge opportunity.
Yep.
And any market, you're going to be okay if you can sustain. Some people can't sustain. It's sad. It happens. And all you can do is be there to service them and help them and find the best alternative and option for them. You have to have options for them because having options in life, that's what it's all about.
Can I transition to?
Yes.
Because my audience, as you know, P and everybody is investors, right? And
yes.
And Cam, in Florida right now, Tampa is not much better. It's a little bit better than where you are, but this area has been hit pretty well as well in a bad way. But I have investors right now in my network working with agents on my team, making money, flipping houses in Tampa, in this market, which is technically declining because it's all about what numbers they buy at. That's it. And the ones that lose money, because there's a few that have lost, they comped it wrong. They bought it wrong. They comped it against the property they were using comps from 2000 builds and their house is 1930. Like, well, come on. Like, of course you can't compete when now you're competing against new builds and things of that. So it's just wrong analysis. So anyway, I just want to say that. Now going back to our topic in terms of what I do, because again, my network is investors, but I also transition a lot of the things I do with investors to some retail clients, and I've spoken about this a bit here, is what I do with basically all the flippers that I sell, because my team is in San Diego selling. I live in Tampa, but I have my business in San Diego. Most of my sphere is there. And most of the investor clients I work with, they already know how I operate, right? I have a special pricing program for my repeat investor client that buys, fixes, and sells with me. My program entails that anything out of pocket, they pay for, which is transaction coordinator, they pay for it. All the marketing expenses, they pay for it, but I go over all of their marketing with them. I have a whole menu of marketing items. And I say, hey, here's the things I would suggest for your type of property, where it's at. Here's the cost associated with this marketing list that I would pick from this whole menu. So we're looking at maybe $1,000 in marketing fees. We're looking at $500 in transaction coordinator fee. So at the end of the day, you're paying me X%, and you're paying for these marketing expenses and the TC fee that you and I get to decide on the marketing. And that eliminates all pressure, guys, because they are in control. And if you've never worked with investors, some of them think they know more than you, right? When it comes to selling their properties. So now I'm like, so if they're the ones that are telling me like, oh, Randy, well, I don't want to do Facebook ads and I just want to, put in an MLS only. Okay, your call. I don't recommend it. And now when I send them my reports every single week, it's not on me because they chose their own path, right? It could be a good path. It could be a terrible path. And then I start telling them, like, look, the property's been on the market now for 30 days. We might want to add some more marketing. We might want to maybe strategically take it off the market, come back in a week. Of course, I keep giving them strategies along the way. But when it comes to releasing pressure, which is the topic of today, when I meet with those type of clients, that's my approach with them. And they love it because not only do they get a special pricing, and then they, of course, pay for the marketing and I get to choose. But get this, I have a listing right now for 2.2 million right now in Bonzo, California. And it's a friend of mine. And this is where this program applies to retail. And this friend of mine calls me because I know him from church, known him forever. He knows I live in Florida, but he knows I still have business in San Diego. I have a team member that does all my business with me. So he trusts me. He calls me and he's like, hey, Randy, I'm thinking about, putting my house on the market and then maybe buy somewhere in Escondido closer to, everything. We're kind of getting tired of this driving. I'm like, great. He's like, but we don't really have to sell. We still love our house, right? Perfect. Like the moment I hear that we don't really have to sell, right? That's where I go. I'm like, look, I got the perfect thing for you, right? Here's what I'm recommending we do. What I want to do for someone like you is give you maximum flexibility, meaning we can put your house on the market tomorrow. And if you change your mind in a week, no problem. That's how we work, right? However, all I ask for is you reimburse me for all my marketing expenses. That's it. If you reimburse me for all my marketing expenses, which I'm going to tell you exactly how much I'm going to spend up front. Again, I'm going to go over this with you, with your approval. And for his house, we're up to about probably 2,000 now, right? Between all the photos and drones and ads and all that. He approved it. I did spend the money. However, I already know that I'm going to get that money back, and he feels very comfortable putting the house on the market because I give him so much flexibility. He could cancel at any time, right? But the key here, he knows that I'm implementing the marketing because I tell him most agents are going to try to take your listings, but the moment you tell them you don't have to sell, they are not spending $1 on marketing. Or if they do, they spend a couple hundred on photos. But they will not go above and beyond knowing that you're not a serious seller. Now, they're not going to tell you this, of course, because most of them, unfortunately, they just want the listing because they hope to get buyer leads from your listing and, have their for sale sign there for ego for 30 days, but it will not serve you, right? So I completely removed that off the table. I said, look, if we're going to do this and try it for 30 days, let's do it, right? And that's how I do it. And then, so that's my strategy with those type of sellers. And I can tell you it works every time. I've never had a seller in a traditional sense even tell me like, oh, I don't want to do that. Every one of them was like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much for being transparent and real on how this works. So just want to share that on the seller side.
No, I think that's a great point. And I like that angle and so forth. Look, we're just giving you guys talking points, right? And we're not saying they all work or they all don't work or they're going to come. Everybody's different, but everybody's looking for a solution in this market. Make no mistake about it. And there are solutions if you know how to focus on it. If you're always constantly focusing on problems, guess what you get? More problems.
Yeah.
You focus on solutions, you get solutions. There's always a way to figure it out and get the solutions. So if anybody has any questions on this topic, put it in the chat bar, or you can unmute and ask it, and we'll help you because there's a lot of inventory sitting. Every market is unique. Every market is different. My market in Nashville is not the same as Cam's in Cape Coral or Fort Myers. It's not the same as Randy's in Tampa Bay or Bonzel out near San Diego. My market in La Jolla is way different than Randy Jones's market out in the Outer Banks. But guess what? They all have people who want to sell. They all have people who want to buy. And like my father always said, the best recipe you can ever get is a seller who wants to sell and a buyer who wants to buy. After that, anything can happen. That's it.
Yeah.
And they'll all say the same thing. We all hear the same objections, you guys. I don't need to sell. I'm not going to give it away. I always say, great, because if you're going to give it away, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But they're not going through the headaches of selling. I mean, let's all face the facts. When you go to sell your house, it's a huge pain in the ass, right? There's uncertainty. You're stressed out. You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to hit where it stands in the market. It's a moving target. You got to guide them. You have to be an advisor, and you have to pre-frame to them what to expect before it comes up. And here's a great tip, and you guys might want to write this down. Whatever they ask you, say, I have a system for that. Even if you don't. I mean, when I don't have a system, I call Dre, who's my head of operations, who runs the world. I don't know if you guys know that. I think she's running NATO right now. And I say, Dre, make a system for that. But I always answer, not a problem. I have a system for that. With ChatGPT, you can create any system instantaneously if you just put in the right prompts. It's the truth. And Dave, chime in. What you're saying? Do it what?
One timing. Do something one time really, really well and repeat it over and over and over again. Do you all do the same thing over and over and over again? Well, stop it. Slow down one time. Do a template for your pre-listing emails. Make it really good. And then every time you get a potential listing, you pull up the pre-listing email and you change the name and you put the first line about, I'm Pete, I'm so, great talking to you today. I look forward to meeting you at 3:00 today to help you, reach your goal of moving to Tampa so you can get out of the cold, right? Or whatever it might be. And then the rest is all templated and it looks like you put all this work into it. Same thing with the marketing pre-listing email. Same with everything. You do it. And so many people, they just, have you ever done, you're going on a listing appointment and you type something up really fast and hurried and you're trying to get out the door in an hour to leave. And then the next day you look back and you look at that email and you want to throw up. You go, I can't believe I sent that. That was not cool. It was not good.
Yeah. I mean, look, Marianne said, and Marianne's one of my favorite Canadians in the world. Talk about positivity. I mean, I think the Canadian dollar. What do they call the coins? The loopy or whatever. I forget the name of the coin. But she said, I think Cameron's market on dropping house prices is attractive. So I believe buyers should consider it now with the value of what a buyer would pay. Because they have options, you guys. Everything in life is about options. You had an option to be on this call or not be on this call. You have an option to take down some of these points and use it in your business. Oh, loonies. That's right, loonies. I have to remember that because I'm kind of loony, right? That's real easy. I'm carrying those Canadian coins in my pockets all the time. There's opportunity everywhere. And whether you believe it or not, the greatest opportunity in the world is United States real estate. It's the gold standard, you guys. I don't care if you don't like the United States or not. It's not a political statement. This is a fact that it is the gold standard across the board. It is the foundation to most people's portfolio that's diversified, is some sort of real estate. Food, water, shelter. You guys, how lucky are we? We're in the top 3. We're in the top 3. People need food, water, and shelter to live. And guess what? We don't have to store it. We don't have to refrigerate it. It doesn't go bad unless somebody's stubborn. That's called an expired listing or a canceled listing. But think about that. It's amazing what we can do. We can change people's lives by making their dreams come true and stop being renters. and diversifying in other ways. Are all of you familiar with the big beautiful bill? Are you familiar with bonus depreciation? What is everybody doing in the United States in the next 2 weeks?
Taxes.
What do you think every accountant on the face of the earth is saying to those people if they own a house or they're paying a huge amount of taxes to the government or the state? They're saying diversification. Guys, they're saying, look, you have options. You can either pay a guy with a long beard, and no, Cam, I'm not talking about Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. I'm talking about Uncle Sam, right? Or you can pay yourself by buying an asset, diversifying your portfolio, and using bonus depreciation. If you hit everything. Full disclosure, I'm not an accountant, but I understand the bill. I understand what's allowed. I play by the rules. And guess what? It's phenomenal and nobody's talking about it. Do you think that's a solution or not for people's tax implications? You guys, while we're doing this, I'm texting somebody right now, a guy in my neighborhood in Nashville. He's like, tell me about the opportunities down in Alabama. I said, where did that come from? At Smith Lake. He said, I met with my accountant yesterday. This is a true story. This happened in real time the last minute and a half. He said, there's this thing that my accountant told me about bonus depreciation. I can buy something, rent it, use it when I want, and I can write it off against my tax implications. I said, you're absolutely right. He said, when should I buy? I said, immediately. Because in the next 2 to 4 weeks, things are going to change. You think you're the only person on the face of the earth in the United States that had the epiphany that, hey, I don't want to pay Uncle Sam next year? They're all saying it. And guess what the accountants say? And the accountants have no dog in the fight. The accountants say, listen, because every person in front of the accountant, they turn pale white. I do too. And I say, you got to give me some options here. What can I do where I don't have to keep paying the government? And the accountant says, go buy an investment property. We can depreciate it. We can write it off. We can do these things. We can take fast depreciation. It's like a gift from God, you guys. Don't make it political. I'm not making Trump God. I'm saying it's a gift from not having to pay the government. You're paying yourself and you're creating wealth. It's unbelievable. Everybody should be talking about that.
Yeah.
Camp should say, look, Cape Coral's down 60% on average. What do you think? It's going to go down 110%? Where you're just going to show up? Cam's going to give you a thing of sunscreen and keys to a condo on the beach for nothing? Or he's going to pay you 10 grand? It's just like when sellers say to me, oh, the other guy said he'd do it for 1%. I said, I have a better idea. I have a better program. Why don't I sell your house? I'll market it. I'll spend all my money. I'll take all the risk. And when it closes, I'll give you 50 grand. How great is that? And they're like, really? I said, no, not really. It doesn't work that way.
April Fools.
Yeah, April Fools. That's it, you guys. We just got to talk about this. Hey, I'm going to put in the chat for anybody that wants to grow their business, wants great systems, wants positivity, solutions, anybody that wants to start recruiting and attracting. We're having our Leaders of Leaders event in Nashville, April 21st to the 23rd. We have 3 seats available. Dre, who runs the world, are in. And I'm telling you, you want to be in this room. These are the rooms that change lives. These are the rooms that you get the best gold nuggets out to put into action in your business, in front of the people around you. How many people on this Zoom have sold a house in the last 12 months with another agent, with a co-broke? Everyone. All you have to do is call the co-broke and say, listen, I really thought highly of you. I loved working with you. How can we do more business together? By the way, what's your brokerage doing for you? I'm just kind of curious. What would you want them to do more of? They're all going to say two things: leads and give me referrals.
Well, and I'm going to pitch this for you, Pete, because you're not pitching it enough.
Thanks, Dave Lawson.
I'm just not that smart, but I'm smart enough to put myself in the right rooms every once in a while. I've done it all my career. It's the R&D method. It's not research and development. It's rip off and duplicate. It's learn from other people. It's share and be shared with. And that's what this event, it's a long flight for me, but I'm going. A bunch of us are going to be there. And it's when you can step out of your business for a day and a half or 2 days and focus on all aspects of growth. Oh, excuse me. And just really dive in and get deep. And the thing is that's when Pete told me about EXP, he's like, man, the collaboration is so good, and he lied to me. The collaboration of the agents at EXP is not so good, Pete. It's phenomenal, right? It is the most important reason, in my personal opinion. Yeah, I don't pay. They pay me. I have 103% commission split. I get stock. I get healthcare. I get. There's 20 reasons not. Those are 20 reasons to come, but the one reason to really come, and that's what this is about. It's about the people, and it's about the events, and it's about the sharing, and that's what we're all going to do, and that's why I'm going to be there.
Love it.
Proximity is power. Like, that has been my goal for the year, is to go and be around as many people who are killing it as possible. And my mind has changed so much. I used to be the hermit that was like, I'm doing fine. I don't need to go out and see these people. And when I finally went out and started meeting people, and when you're at EXP, it's one brokerage across the country, like, you get to work with everyone. And it's so fun. And the stuff that people are doing is wild. Like, get out there, talk to the people that are making waves, because the way to broaden your mind is to be around other people that are doing incredible things. And my business has changed substantially over the last 120 days because I decided I'm going to be around power players. And yeah, it costs money, right? It costs money to go to this thing. But like, I changed my plan so I could be there. Like, I need to be around these people. Yeah. I need to be in rooms where, like, what's the best room to be in? The room to grow. And when we're all together, that's where growth happens. And I would encourage all of you, if it's not this event, like, go to Cabo next year. Like, I love masterminding with Pete there and everyone else. Like, there's so many power players in EXP that are willing to give you their playbook for just because, like, they want to see you succeed. Literally, it doesn't happen anywhere else. Nowhere else can you get that kind of deal. Dave's exactly right. So yeah, show up to this thing. I'd love to meet y'all in person. I'm
and you know something, you guys, look, and I'm being honest with you. These are the rooms you want to be in. When guys like Ross and Dave are moving around their plans to be there, that's gold. I mean, Randy Jones, if you're coming, he just pinged me. He said, look, count me in. If you're coming, I'm going to introduce you to someone that's in our network who's in California, and she has a huge client that buys hotels. Randy, what did you call me the other day last week and ask me about?
Yeah, about a hotel we're doing here on the
They said, who do you know who'd want to invest or buy into a hotel? That's how real estate works, you guys. It's the power of proximity. It's the power of connections, right? That's it.
Well, I just signed up, so I'll be there.
There you go. I love it. We need somebody from the Outer Banks before a hurricane hits out there, right? We gotta have somebody who brings the hurricane to Nashville.
Don't talk about
hurricanes. 2 seats left.
Yeah.
This is going to be sold out, you guys. I call it Nashville networking. And I don't even speak Nashvilleian. I'm going to try to hit you guys with some y'alls and all types of stuff, but it's going to be phenomenal. We're going to have a great time. We're going to meet people in the group. You're going to get tons of value out of it. We have business coaches coming in. We have AI coaches coming in who are top notch. If you had to hire the productivity, the business coach, the AI coach, it would cost you $100,000. It's a no-brainer. You know? Hey, Dave, there was a question for you, and I'm gonna say it to you, okay? Let me just go back. Chris Goodman said, Dave mentioned a wealth building tool presented when walking buyers through it. Hold on, I just got kicked out of it. Hold on. When you
All right, so can you see my screen right here?
Yeah, walking buyers through their journey. Is this something he uses on his team or something accessible that can be shared?
I got to get with Drew to help with this, but
Drew's his son
it's so incredible. I'm going to give you I've never done this in 2 minutes. We don't go late here.
Go.
Okay. Pete, you're going to buy this house for $850,000. You're going to put a down payment of 10% or whatever you want. You're going to put $85,000 down. You're going to get a loan here. The interest rate today is at 6.25%. Your payment is here. How long are you going to live in the house? He says 7 years. Here's the annual appreciation in the country from 5.37. That's since 1942. The average Utah is 6.61, if you want to put that in. So you said in 7 years, your projected value is this, your equity gain is this, you're going to have a forced savings account of $76,000. There's your total equity. You've made $452,000. You pay $4,710 plus insurance and all that. But your average gain per month is 53, so it's more than you pay. Oh, but what if I put my money in the S&P? Well, the S&P since 1875 increased at 9.42, but the average is at 12. So, let's go to 12%, right? And if you buy the real estate, if you put in a down payment of $85,000, and you put that in the S&P in 7 years, you're going to have a good return, 121%. You're now going to have $187,000. But if you buy real estate, $537,000. Here's your advantage. And oh, by the way, last time I checked, I can't live in my S&P portfolio. So that's it. It's something, and I'm going to share this, and I'm going to show people how to use it in Nashville, and we can do another training on it. And Ross has implemented it with his team. We have another team in Alabama that is using it, and we're sharing and helping people. So
yeah, Huntsville, Alabama team. That's awesome. Thank you, Dave. Chris Goodman, great question. Listen, guys, get people to these masterminds, but even more importantly, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to build your business, build your production, build your recruiting, build your downline, build freedom, and build your rev share, these are the rooms you have to be in. And that's not coming from me. Guess who it's coming from? It's coming from Brent Gove and Gene Frederick. They both said that to me in Cabo 3 weeks ago. My mother was in the hospital. Excuse, right? Business was going so-so. Excuse. Deals were falling apart. Excuse. But guess what? I made a commitment to them. I had family yelling at me. I had clients yelling at me. I had everybody yelling at me. I got out of the noise. I went there for 3 days. I spoke to 1,400 agents about luxury because I made a commitment. And I took massive action, followed through. And here's the deal. It was worth every penny of doing it. It was one of the greatest conferences ever. They came up to me and they said, we appreciate with everything you have going on being here because it shows that you showed up. And guess what? When you show up, the universe rewards you. The universe rewards you, you guys. I just got handed a referral last night for $9 million listing in San Diego because I showed up. So get outside your comfort zone. Everything you want in life is in Nashville, the 21st to the 23rd. There's 2 seats left. Are you going to grow or are you going to wallow? All right. Listen, great mastermind. Invite people, pay it forward, give it out, give it for free. God bless. Everybody have a beautiful Easter, and let's keep selling, okay? It's a good life. Talk to you guys soon.